Hi, everyone. Mallory McGrath here. I'm the founder and CEO of Viive Planning. We have some really exciting news. News that we've been sitting on for months now that we are so excited to be finally sharing with our audience. Everybody say hi to Carolyn Wilson.
Hi.
You guys, I have been waiting for the moment to introduce Carolyn to everybody because Carolyn kind of has established this new vibe that we have here at Viive. Because I've had people working for me at Viive for years now. We now have another legacy coordinator at Viive working with clients. So we're going to get to know Carolyn a little bit today. Personally, who is Carolyn? What makes you tick? What's your favorite food, color? Hit us up with it all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carolyn, and I am relatively new to Viive and very excited to be here. My background is nursing, so I do come to Viive with a nursing background, and that makes me very excited to be a part of the team and not only bring my nursing background, but also learn from the excellent team that exists. I love to travel. That's really what sparks joy in my life, is exploring different countries. I was just, looking and talking to friends, and just the excitement of just seeing the airport is really what sparks joy. And along with that is trying different cuisines. And I am a huge family person, so my family and friends are everything to me. So really love being around people.
How about you tell us a little bit about yourself professionally, like what sort of designations you have, what jobs you've had in the past, any really cool accomplishments you're proud of, things like that.
So I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 15 years. I was a pediatric nurse to start, working in complex care, oncology, child development, really all things pediatric. Well, I really found a push and a draw towards palliative and end of life care, just because you really got invited into the family's story. Give them really that holistic care that really drove me and inspired me to be a nurse. Was that, the social, the psychological, the science, all of that was really encompassed in end of life care. And then through COVID, I started taking care of adults just because of the shift in the healthcare system, and really knew that there was a bit of a gap. So I did my master's of nursing, and with a certificate of palliative care and aging across the lifespan. There's a joy and there's a sacredness to all ages in palliative care. So I've done projects in the the pediatric world on early advanced care planning. So I'm a certified hospice palliative care nurse, certified pediatric nurse, certified clinical nurse educator. I love educating and I love learning the healthcare system, learning community, and learning all about kind of the legal and the estate planning piece of things too. So I'm a clinical nurse specialist for palliative care with the adult population at this point.
I've met different palliative care doctors, people that work in hospices and whatnot, and it takes a different mindset of a nurse, doctor, medical professional to be in that lens, to be in the palliative hospice lens. Do you find it similar for nurses in that space as well?
I think it is. I think, and you find what your niche is. I think that's the beautiful thing about being a nurse. One of the physicians I work with, it's like, it's not a failure if we're focusing on the end of life, if we're moving into that way. It's a different shift we have to take. You're working with these healthcare teams that are trying to do treatments and trying to, prolong life. But then there's a certain point where there's that pivot, and the earlier integration of palliative care you have, then that team continues to follow you to say, okay, we've done everything we can. We've exhausted the treatment plans, and we want to stop so that we don't have suffering, and we can focus on comfort, and we can focus on helping you still live. But the focus on quantity is, we're not focused on quantity. We don't care about how long. We care about how well. So then we focus on that quality piece.
That's so great. I don't know if people know this, but when we've met with potential legacy coordinators, which we've been doing for the past 3 years, we just didn't know, what is the type of person that we need? Yes, from a professional standpoint, what is their skill set? We realized that what was even more important than a person's, shall we say, knowledge base was actually their ability to be empathetic, their ability to form intimate bonds with people, their ability to just immediately transition in social situations. I don't sit and have an interview with them on the phone or over Zoom Zoom, like we go out to lunch, we hang out because I need to see what you're like. There is nothing like a legacy coordinator out there in Canada. There isn't. Nothing like this exists anywhere else in our country that we've found so far. And it was basically created around my personality. And I think you and I connected, let's be honest, over our love of musicals. But also I think that, you know, just your love of, as you said, your love of traveling, of exploring, of learning about people, like that's such a huge part of it. And we're so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Now, how did you learn about Viive? I was trying to remember that this morning. I feel like you slid into our DMs at some point.
I definitely slid into your DMs. Had this plan just again working in healthcare and just knowing that there was a gap out there in terms of the early integration of palliative care. And I had that medical lens. I knew the nursing piece of it, I knew the medical piece of it, but I knew that if I wanted to start something, I had a huge gap in my knowledge of the legal side of things. So again, I know I know kind of the prognosis of certain illnesses. I know what the hospital system looks like. And then I slid into your DMs being like, oh my gosh, I've had the same idea. I really want to do this. That's where it started. And I was like, oh yes, this is the missing link to all of my dreams and what I want and all my dreams and wants.
It definitely came about. Like at the time, I wasn't looking for legacy coordinators. We took a break on that. And then I had a bunch of people reach out to me at the same time. And I was like, okay, the universe is telling me something here. Like, let's go. And it's been such a journey for me and for the existing team at Viive to figure out, okay, you need to allow for their individuality, but you also need to create boundaries around how certain things are going to work within the service offering. Like something that's really different about us is in our personal lives, what our relationship and family situations look like. And that will just be just an added bonus for the clients that we have and the new ones that'll be coming in.
For sure. Where I was thinking about it, it's just such a great, even like personal thought process of going through it.
We've provided services all over Ontario for almost 5 years now. But we really care about, one of the things that's really important to us at Viive, right, is like being in a client's home, like meeting them where they are most comfortable, where they pour tea into their mugs, right? Or glasses of wine. I've had clients do that too, right? But like where they're just in their own home, their own vibe. And you and I don't live too far apart, but you definitely are going to be like our East Ontario person, which is really great, right? So from like a Viive, like supporting our clients' perspective, bringing on more legacy coordinators, making sure that they are positioned in different places in the province is really only going to allow us to provide a better, more thorough service to our clients.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And again, being in their home, learning about them, being in kind of looking at photos and just being invited into that space is just so important, and I think so vital in terms of being able to really get to know who they are and who their family unit is. So
you talked a lot about advanced care planning, and this is something that we've provided at Viive, but admittedly, because of a gap of knowledge that we had, which is really the medical side of things, we've been using tools to support us through that process this whole time. Having someone who has medical knowledge, but will not be providing medical advice, to be clear, but has that medical knowledge and background is really going to be a big added bonus for our clients. There are a lot of traditional estate planners like lawyers and financial advisors. And so they're all in their little pockets. But what we've been consistently trying to do at Viive, which I think is what really attracted you to us, right, is like that we're trying to give you a one-stop shop of things. We don't want you to have to go to various people. When we do send you to someone who has a particular area of expertise, we are involved in that process. We're still your home base at all times.
And because you see, like I see it every day, just in terms of, you know, the healthcare system itself is really hard to navigate, but the whole, you know, you've preparing for it or to being given a diagnosis that can be, you know, life-shattering or really emotional, and then navigating the healthcare system with that, but then also planning. There's just so many different avenues and places to go and people to speak to. It really takes away from what I was try and push on people is spending time with your loved ones or doing things that you really love doing. That's where my passion is on advanced care planning. It's like, get it done early because you just don't know. You really
Mhm.
just don't know when you're going to need to pull on it. And I think it's so great to kind of review and just to let people know it's in a one spot. So they just have to go to one person and it'll all be taken care of.
People don't realize that they should have done it sooner until it's too late.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, whether that's because someone's going to die or we have an aging parent, and all of a sudden everybody goes, crap, I actually should have listened and done this sooner. And so, what we really try to do at Viive, and I'm sure that you've done this too in your work in supporting people at their end of life with families, is okay, learn from this.
Mhm.
Don't do the same thing that mom did or brother did or sister did. Like, learn from it and make your own plans in advance. And there's such a, I think especially in, like, we're around the same age, right? There's such a, even just in my friend group, and maybe you see this too, people just still really deny the fact that they could die tomorrow, that like that's just not a thing, right? There's just so much denial that their life could end, that they could leave their kids and spouse behind, that they, could I always say your bus could be out there. I mean, the bus is going to hit you, right? Like it could be there. And something I think that both of us are passionate about is really encouraging people to think that way. And it's not depressing. It's just realistic. And if you have certain plans in place, at least if that proverbial bus does show up, you can, go on to whatever potential afterlife or lack thereof that you believe in, and know that people are taken care of in your life. And
Mhm.
that's just such a key piece I can really continue to encourage in these younger adult generations, is that, let's just do this now instead of waiting 30 more years to start. Let's do it now and just get it done and check in every 5 years and see how things are.
I take pride in what I have, and I want to make sure the people that I love have a piece of that if I am not here. So that's why, again, it's just we work so hard that let's make sure that the people we have can benefit from that hard work, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. Yeah. Awesome.
Perfect.
Carolyn, thanks so much for joining me today and for
Thank you,
chatting with our
Mel.
audience.
Thanks so much, everybody. Look forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.